Hello YouTube, this is Marauders here, and this is the Nacon Revolution Pro PlayStation 4 controller. So this is one of the first third-party pro level controllers for the PlayStation 4, and it's made by Nacon. So let's take a look at it and see what makes it so pro. Okay, first of all, on the overall physical look, this is the surface of the controller is not a smooth or glossy surface. This is the sort of matte plastic rubber type surface. It's smooth, and the problem that I have with it is that this is the kind of surface that can get easily sweat stained by your sweat. So in the long run, you might start seeing marks coming out due to sweat or something. Okay, now the other immediate difference from a normal DualShock 4 controller is the fact that the sticks are in an asynchronous position. That means that they are basically like an Xbox controller where one is on top and one is below, whereas on the DualShock 4 both are on the same level. So some people like the DualShock 4 position, some people like the Xbox position. Personally, I prefer the Xbox position. So yeah, I kind of like this. Now the other thing is that to note is that the thumbsticks are actually slightly higher than normal. So this is, I think some people prefer this because they say that higher stick heads give them a better response. Not too sure of it myself. Personally, my hands are a bit big. I mean, my hands are a bit small, and having the sticks a bit high means that I feel a little bit cramped if I play for long hours. Now, the other thing is that based on your personal taste as well, the left stick is concave, so it goes in, and the right thumbstick is convex, so it pushes out, it juts out because of the logo, the snake logo. The heads are not replaceable, and well, that's so much about it. Then so buttons are normal, and of course, like any DualShock 4 controller on the PlayStation, you have a touchpad here which also clicks. That's pretty much what you need to do to call yourself a PlayStation 4 controller anyway. Everything else is normal. You have your options button, you have your share. Well, it's a normal PlayStation controller. Right now you can't see it here because the PlayStation isn't on, but there's a little light here which basically imitates the light bar on your DualShock 4. So that's the usual color indicator which the games can set the controller to. Now from the back, let's take a look. The cable of the controller. So this is a wired controller. There's no way to make it wireless. The cable is a 3-meter braided cable, so it's not just a normal piece of rubber, and you can actually remove it from the controller. You can just pull this cap out and then you can unscrew the wire for better keeping or whatnot. Okay, and from the back we have one more interesting feature about the controller. First of all, you take the included little plastic tab key, and there's a little nub here where we can just put this in and turn it. And I can pull out a little tray. So this tray in here right now, there's a weight here. This is a 14-gram weight. So with a tray like this, you can customize the weight feeling of your controller. So other than, you can see that the tray allows for 2 weights to be put in. So other than a 14-gram, you also have a 10-gram and a 17-gram weight. So of course they give 2 sets of these, so you can put it in both the left and right arms of the controller. Okay, let me just put that back. So how are you gonna carry all these? Where are you gonna put all these extra bits? Nacon gave this nice little pouch in order for you to carry the controller around. But of course, if we took these and dumped it into the pouch, well, that's not gonna be fun if you're carrying around the controller. So that's why the pouch has a very nice little side pocket design. So there's a other side pocket here where we can open, we put all the extra stuff in there, we close it. So there you go. So the main compartment is free of the weights, will not spill over into the main compartment, and you can still carry the weights and the key around with you. Okay, that's a pretty nice idea. Now the other things, let's look at the back. There's here's where the fun things happen. So first of all, we have the mode switch. Now this switches from the normal mode, where the stick is lit up with a blue light, to the advanced mode. So now you see that it's lit up with a red light. Now once we switch it to the advanced mode like this will now give you access to the shortcut buttons on the back. So there are 4 shortcut buttons, and you're expected to like reach it from the back like this. So there are 4 buttons here. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you're supposed to just like as an extra hold it here. And what you can do with these shortcut buttons is that you can assign any button press or even macros to these buttons. So this is basically one of the most normal feature of a Pro controller, like the Xbox Elite controller or the previous Razer controllers. And the main thing which normal console gamers would do is that, for example, if you are a heavy FPS player, like you play a lot of Call of Duty, you know that one very interesting disadvantage that you have when you're playing is that if you're aiming at someone and you need to jump, you need to let go of your hand and you need to press the jump button. Okay? So normally what people do is they would just configure the jump to maybe the bumper or maybe some one of the bumpers. Now the problem here is that, again, you'll be moving something onto the face button, and when you press that, you won't be able to aim. So with shortcut buttons like these, the first thing that I do is obviously move the jump button to one of these here, so I can just keep aiming and jump at the same time. And that is actually very useful. That is really after so many years of using like the Elite controller and Razer's controllers, yes, that is actually a very useful thing to have when you're playing on the console. But one thing I must say though, maybe it might be because I'm not used to it, because on the Razer the buttons were here, and on the Xbox Elite it was a nice long pedal down, so I can easily flick it. I'm not too sure about the positioning of these shortcut buttons yet. I feel that it's a bit harder to reach. But of course, when I think about it, the position of these shortcut buttons as well as the height of the thumb, they made the controller for someone with bigger hands. I guess there is that possibility. And last thing I want to touch upon the controller is the fact that there's a little profile switch here. So what this does is, when I press the profile button, okay, you can see there's the little light that moves around. So basically, like all the shortcut buttons and some other settings that I mentioned just now, so you can store it in 4 different profiles, and you can switch between them on the fly just like that, by pressing the profile button and cycling between the 4 locations. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about what you can do with the profiles and what are the settings that you can do with the controller. So first of all is, as mentioned, you can map any button press or macro to the shortcut button. So you could do like, if I press a button, this button here, it's jump. I press this one, it's change weapons. I press this one, it does a Hadouken motion. So you can do all that by mapping it to the button. The other thing you can do with the profiles is that you can set the sensitivity of the right thumbstick and only the right thumbstick. Now, what does it mean by setting the sensitivity? It's you're actually setting the sensitivity curve. Now, if you're a heavy FPS player, you know that moving the sights accelerates at a linear curve. So that means if you're moving it a little bit, it turns a little bit, and if you press it and you tilt the stick further up, it moves it very fast. And this is where all your sensitivity settings in Call of Duty and everything comes to play. Now, you could set a high sensitivity in Call of Duty, but you can, if even a little bit of movement over the short range, and you'll be in that extra fast rotation area. So what you can do by adjusting the sensitivity curve is that you can make the stick report a lower level of tilt than it actually is to the game. So in the game, you can set a high sensitivity level, but for the controller, you tell it to lower the sensitivity curve so that it doesn't go into the high areas that fast. So it gives you a much better chance of doing a fine-tuned turning without having to concentrate on just tilting the stick a little bit. Yeah, it's actually a bit confusing because those I myself also never actually used the sensitivity curve tuning on my other controllers before, because yeah, it takes a long time to get used to it and everything. I just feel that it's not worth it. Now, the other thing that you can set is the travel distance of the triggers. So normally the triggers we report to the game as 0 to 100 as a full. So if you want to, you can just make it so that when you're half pressed, it will actually report that it's fully pressed to the game. So in theory, what this does is that if a game wants to wait for you to press 100 before it shoots, if you make it report half press as full press, then you can fire faster if the game doesn't have a firing delay. Now, all this customization is great, but now we come to the big problem with the Nacon Revolution Pro. Okay, and that's the fact that you can't configure all these shortcuts and all these macros and this sensitivity curve on the controller. And you can't configure it on the PlayStation 4. You need to download an app to your PC, to your Windows PC. I don't see a Mac version on their website. And then you customize it there. So you have to, so when you're customizing all this, you have to like pull out the thing from your PlayStation, plug it into your PC, run the customization software, do all the customization, and then plug it back into the PlayStation 4 to use it. And the main inconvenient thing about this is when you're trying to test the right stick sensitivity settings. Because for the shortcut buttons, it's fine. You know, like which buttons or macros you want to assign to the buttons. That's usually okay. But for the sensitivity, it's something that you have to keep trying and testing, and well, you have to, because of the fact that you can only do it on the PC app, it's inconvenient to really like test it and get on and try and see which is the right feeling for you. So yeah, that is actually one of the major inconveniences with the Nacon Revolution Pro. And so to continue on the PC angle, if you're wondering, yes, when you plug the Revolution Pro into your PC, it will report as a joystick. But if you're familiar with games or gaming on the PC, this will not report as an X input joystick. So obviously you can't get it to work with most of the games on Steam immediately. And it also doesn't report itself as a DualShock 4. So if you're trying to use this with the PlayStation Remote Play, it's not going to work as well. and then on Steam you can if you're using Steam, you can actually configure generic sticks to try and report themselves as X input, so that it's like if you're using Input Mapper or X360 Gamepad, and it's supposed to work like that, but I haven't gotten it to work properly, and truth be told, I don't have that much experience with those anyway. And the other thing is, even in games which support generic joysticks, I was trying a few around, sometimes it doesn't work. It will just go crazy. I tried using Ikaruga. It went nuts. It worked well in Samurai Gun. It worked well in Tower Fall. But right now, I really can't recommend this as a PC controller. So if you want a controller that works on your PS4 and your PC, get a DualShock 4, not this. Okay, so in summary, first of all, in case you're wondering, just buying a Pro controller isn't gonna make you any better in your games. Okay, the controller is just part of your toolkit to maximizing your skill. Yes, being able to jump and aim without lifting your finger off the aiming, yes, that is an advantage, but it's not going to be an immediate advantage. There are people who have lived with that handicap for a long time and can deal with it. So you might have some advantage against normal players, but you're not going to be extra good just by buying this controller, in case you're wondering. But as someone who has used Pro joysticks, these shortcut buttons are immensely useful. It's really something very good to have. But of course, the main problem here is that if you're trying to configuring the controller, if you're not someone that's going to poke around at it all the time, that's fine. You just do it once by connecting it to your Windows PC, and you can configure it. But the fact that you need to use a PC to do a configuration, I guess that might be a problem for you. And then on the whole, after about a week of using this, I've been playing Neo with this. I played some Battlefront, I played some Battlefield, played Nier Automata with this. The controller feels fine, but I have to give one caveat here, which is that I've been reviewing and using a lot of other third-party controllers like the Razers, the Steel series, and others. Now, they might work fine for about a month or so, but usually after like a few more months, 2 or 3 months, they seem to break down much more faster compared to the other first-party controllers. You can say either it's about a quality issue, control issue, or it could just be that first-party controllers are built like a tank, or it could be that Pro controllers are made of more delicate components and therefore they are easier to break. But that's just a caveat. So right now I'm saying that it works, the quality feels good. But if you buy it and if it breaks in 3 months or something, yeah, go get a replacement. We don't all, if you've been playing around with console controllers, you will all remember the Razer Onza incident, which was very bad. That was a total embarrassment to Razer, and I don't know why no one talks about it that much. Okay, so Nacon Revolution Pro controller, yes, it's a nice enhanced controller. If you're looking for something that will give you a slight extra edge by using the shortcut buttons, yeah, you don't have much of a choice on the PlayStation 4 for it anyway. Because it's either this or the Razer Pro controller, which I haven't seen yet in case you're wondering. And this is the cheaper one. And if from what I heard is that the Razer one, well, that has the normal asynchronous stick placements. Well, I don't know. Between this and the Razer, well, some people hate Razer because they're expensive and they're not worth their money. So if you're allergic to Razer products, yep, you can get this as your Pro controller. If not, I guess they should both be more or less the same. Okay, the Razer doesn't need a PC to do its configuration though. Yeah, there's that. But if you're looking for this, yeah, you can give it a try if you're okay with all the other caveats that I mentioned in the review. Okay, so this is Marauders. I will see you all in the next video. Is that 30 seconds?